Hello out there. Welcome to PCG TV. The show is called To Serve, and my name is Jerome Otri. This is the show that discusses the lives and times and works of our agents who have been called to serve. Not all of them knew or even saw that they will be ministers. Some of them also knew right from their childhood days till the time they were called that they will go into ministry, whether it's tent or full-time ministry. What this show does is to unravel the story or uncover the story of our agents who are serving the Lord through the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll go into the story of one of them who has joined us for today's show. It's an interesting story. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be back to go into that story. Welcome back. The show, as I told you, is called To Serve. And the minister or the servant who is going to share his story with us today is the Ekwapim Presbytery AHRM and also a minister at Salem Congregation Latte. I'm talking about Reverend Dr. Felix Cornelius Agyei. Also, welcome to PCG TV.
Thank you.
And welcome to Call to Serve.
Great.
So, as I introduced, this program basically looks at the lives and times and works of our ministers, especially the background stories.
Yeah.
Many people may have seen you in clerical, but not everyone knows how you even got the clerical. Getting the clerical might be pretty simple.
Yeah.
Simple not in terms of the processes you go through, but the fact that they know, oh, you went to Trinity or you went to Abetifi. But there are always stories behind where you went to and how you came out. How did your story of becoming a minister begin?
Okay. Thank you so much, Piero. Yeah. And greetings to my family, my wife, my brothers, all the siblings, the ministers who have been involved in my training. A lot of them, my parents, and all those who have been involved in my upbringing. I salute them, and those whose shoulders we have risen to become who we are. We are really grateful to them. Yeah. So Felix Cornelius Agyei in ministry is an interesting story because fortunately, or can I even use the word fortunately, because we are all fortunate irrespective of the different situations. But my mom was a children's service teacher.
Okay.
Tiasi, Salem Congregation.
Where is that? Tiasi.
Afram Place. Yeah,
Okay.
Kwao Presbytery. And all my brothers were leaders, JY teachers, YPG leaders. So what it means is that I was born into children's service, trained by my mom in children's service, trained by my brother who is the now Reverend at Santiachim Konongo, Reverend Justice Fred Agyei.
Okay.
Who also trained me in junior youth and other aspects of the youth till we are where we are. So right from my infancy, as far as I could remember, even though I was born into children's service, I remember vividly when I gave my life personally to Christ. After one revival in the church, one evening, I remember that day very well.
So which year would this be?
Yeah, that will be, I think it will be around 2003, 2004. Yes, where I remember vividly where I gave my life to Christ personally.
Okay.
Owning the faith of our fathers and our mothers.
That's always the first question, but then we also have to look at other things that may have come into play
Yeah.
before, let's say, you took up the training to be minister.
Yeah.
So here, I mean, you've mentioned some of the things you have mentioned clearly tells me that you're a family person, and I'm not talking about being married or not being married,
Yeah.
or having children or not having children, but you clearly appreciate the value of a family because you've mentioned your parents, your brothers, and other people who contributed to who you are today. In terms of education, where did it all start?
Yeah, so I started my education at the same place, TRC.
Okay.
So my mom was also a primary teacher.
Oh, I see.
So also born into the nursery at the same
Wow.
time. So I think up to class 1 was TRC LA, now DA.
Okay.
And then class 2 and 3, my mom moved to RC. So I moved to RC for class 2 and 3. And then I came to Presby, TRC Presby Primary from class 4 up to GHS level when we went to the senior high school. So finished junior high school at TRC Presby. I think we were 2 people who were the best students in the whole community. Myself and one friend who is unfortunately late.
Oh.
And then another person in Presby. So 3, 4. For those of us who were in Presby, 2 of us, and then RC, 1 person. So I got opportunity to come to Imprice Senior High School.
Okay.
But I did not know I would be able to go to school.
Why?
For senior high school because of the economic situation.
I see.
Yes. So, and at that time, going to school beyond the river was not easy. Passing itself at that time, because those times at TRC, past questions on those times, extra classes, those things were not, you know, you were in village after school, you go to farm and those stuffs. But by God's grace, we did our best and we passed, we secured admission. I remember my mom asking me, so if I'm unable to take you to Mpraeso, what will you do? Because at that time, the senior high school in the community was not too good in terms of passing and the prospects. So I said, okay, why? I believe education is about determination. So if I have to go to the school in the village, I don't care. But lo and behold, they managed to mobilize something for us to go to senior high school. So that tells you already that senior high school was not a joke for some of us. Yeah.
But what did you study or what did you read at senior high school?
Yeah. So senior high school, I did science, pure science.
I see.
Biology, physics, chemistry, EMAS at Imprice Secondary School. And by God's grace, I think in our time, we at a point we needed somebody to represent the school in a national physics competition.
I see.
I represented Imprice Secondary School.
Okay.
Yes. So
nice. And what was the outcome?
Did
the school do well?
Unfortunately, when we went there, it was supposed to be a competition on physics, chemistry, and biology. But our mentor thought it was only in physics.
Oh.
So we did not do the preparatory
in the other subjects.
And that is how come I couldn't make it to the next level. Yeah. But at least thinking of where I came from to represent Price Secondary School in a national competition. Yes, that for me
a big leap.
And I always mention that because in the first term at Imprice Secondary School, I failed EMAS, I failed chemistry, physics, I didn't do so well. So the school said if I get E again, I will be withdrawn.
What do you think accounted for your inability to pass
in the first term?
Yeah, because my presumption is subsequently you did well.
Yes.
Yeah. So what may have or might have accounted for?
Yeah.
Was it because you were new to the environment or the course wasn't didn't come so easy?
You know, if you have schooled in the typical village setting, you'll not be able to cover much of the syllabus. So when we started some of the chemical reaction, the balancing, we did not cover so much. And you realize most of the first term course It's like a revision from the JHS3
JHS3, okay.
courses, small chemical reactions and those types, some aspects. So, and then most people also got the luxury in enrolling in the pre-secondary school training. So when the teacher comes, do you understand? We
They
understand.
have a fair knowledge.
Do you get it? Yes. And you have to struggle. But some way, somehow, during the vacation, I told my brothers, and then the one I follow right over, George Agyei, he informed one of his colleagues who did science at Donkokrom Secondary School, Ajekum. Yes, Ajekum. So Ajekum took me through extra classes that my brother paid for it, extra classes to that time. And lo and behold, the topics that we did, that was the topics that we began with the next semester.
I see.
So it gave me a good lift, and that was the beginning of excellence.
So beyond Impartial Secondary School, you went to tertiary at University
of Cape Coast.
University of Cape Coast, and there too.
So in Impartial Secondary School, I was given the opportunity to become the NUBG president.
Okay.
I ran away, but I don't know how it happened.
Why did you run away?
I was very timid and a shy person. Sometimes when I say it, people don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
Yes, and if you know me off the microphone, you realize I am a very shy person. But something happens when you take the microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, I off the microphone. If you know me well, I'm a very shy, timid, and quiet person.
Okay.
And so, and then coming from that background, going to stand before this huge crowd, women, men. And do you know I was a serious stammerer also?
I don't believe that either.
Yes. And I'll share how it got vanished along the way.
Okay.
And I used to be a very serious stammerer. I
see.
But as I began to preach, I realized whenever I am preaching, I don't stammer. But when I go to class and I'm asked a question, I'll stammer. But as I continued and developing in ministry at the university level, preaching most of the times, that is how come my stammering. Yes.
Would you say this is an act of God?
That is the power of God, definitely. That is the Holy Spirit.
Okay. So what program do you do at UCC?
UCC, I did biochemistry.
Biochemistry.
Yes.
So Papa is a full-blown biochemist.
You, and I love biochemistry.
I like the glow on your face. The way you said I love biochemistry.
They knew I was going to be a teaching assistant.
Oh, I see.
And they used to call me TA whilst even from first year, because some of us also have that leadership grace. So even right from first year, they started calling me TA Cornelius, Cornelius. Yeah, but they didn't know where our mind was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love biochemistry technically. Yeah. So I did part of my attachment at Accra Brewery.
Okay.
And then at Donkokrom Hospital. So I loved both industrial and clinical biochemistry. Okay. So
Papa, for those watching us who might not know the basic or fundamental work of a biochemist, what does biochemistry entail? And on a normal day, assuming you are a biochemist at ABL, like you said, what will be your work?
Yes. So biochemistry basically deals with internal issues. Technically, every serious laboratory institution, when we go to, say, Noguchi, things like the breakout of diseases like the Ebola and those, biochemists will be really involved in determining the anatomy of those pathogens and those viruses to determine and to assist in development of drugs. So it's a serious. And then when we come to, for the hospitals, I think though they employ biochemists, but if you are in an ordinary hospital, you use just about 1% of your knowledge in biochemistry. Ascertaining maybe LFT, the liver functions, and some chemistries that we do in the lab. So, and in the industrial, in terms of chemical productions, they are very much involved in the production of drugs. Because when it comes to the structural integrity and how chemicals should be formed and all those things, when it goes to food industries, whatsoever lab you will find that has to produce something, biochemists have to be behind
Okay.
to ascertain the chemistry of the biology you are dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's going to get into contact with us. So how our bodies will accept all those things, biochemists come in to ascertain those things.
I have a big question for Papa. I don't know if he will see it as big,
Yeah.
but there's a story I will share
Yeah.
before I ask that question when we come back from the break. Welcome back. You know, Papa has been narrating to us his educational life, how he started from TRC to Bryanston Secondary School and also to the University of Cape Coast, where he read biochemistry. Now, this is a story I promised to share, Papa. Recently, I met Reverend Agyei Mensah. I think he once acted as a Ghana Presbytery chairperson, and somebody was introducing me to him, and he said that he's a ministerial student. And I remember the first thing Papa said was, "Why? You didn't get any job to do, so you want to be yourself." And we laughed.
Yeah.
Based on this story, I mean, he told me other things.
Yeah.
He wanted to know my profession. I mean, the training I have and all that before entering ministerial training. Based on this, the question I want to ask is, why would someone with, and I know a bit of sciences,
Yeah.
why would you leave something as complicated and perhaps rewarding as a biochemist to be a minister of the Lord?
Yeah. So I have not left biochemistry.
Okay.
It is all part of our training.
Okay.
Because I believe the training and the analytical mind I have as a biochemist plays critical role in my research in theology. Even in if you look at some of the project I did as a biochemist, I looked at glutathione peroxidase.
What is that?
This is an enzyme
Okay.
involved in maybe in relation to the work I did. You know, if you take malaria, if you get malaria, you know, you get weak.
Yeah.
And the drugs also makes you weak.
Yes.
So I isolated the blood of somebody who has not gotten malaria and somebody who has gotten malaria. And I looked at how this enzyme works when they take the malaria drugs. And that is when I realized it is because of the production of a chemical or the system, the reactive oxidative systems into the blood to counter the drug. That is how come the person gets exhausted if you don't eat well and then you take. But I'm taking all this to say that that analytical mind, that specificity to be able to isolate an enzyme and for the enzyme not to die before you finish your project means a kind of mindset, dedication, and concentration. And I think that is what is helping me in my research into biblical hermeneutics and systematic theology as well, which I love because God is a scientist. He created the whole universe. And so for me, I believe science is a foundation for theology.
I see.
Yes, and it makes the Bible real. You are able to ascertain the complexity of our human nature and to appreciate the Bible and how God has made us.
What would you say then to those who say or argue that science and faith do not mix?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think the two mix?
Technically, as a researcher, every serious scientist knows that science and religion goes hand in hand.
How?
Yes, so that has to do with the argument of faith and reason. Some says they intertwine. Science goes hand in hand with religion, and religion provides the answers where science gets stuck. That is how it works. So for example, God has created the universe. How do we know how God has created the plants to survive? Then science gets into the details to be able to appreciate the wonder. why is it that because the plants need the sunlight, their stomatas, the leaves are open so that they can access sunlight for photosynthesis to okay? And that is in science, that is the intelligent design in philosophy of religion.
Okay.
That tells you, so that does not debunk religion, but it reveals the wonder of God. It reveals the wonder. So science enables you to even appreciate the wonders of God.
But I would love to sit in your class anywhere, anywhere you lecture, because you are so deep. You have so much to share. So, with this scientific background, at what point did the call to ministry, and specifically in the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, come?
So, if I look back and doing an interpretation of my life, I realized, when you search through the scriptures, those who are called, you see that the calling itself gives them the work to do.
Yeah.
The calling itself prepares them. So as far as I remember in my childhood, I remember that when my parents, when our children's service teachers were not available, I remember that I was the one who would lead the children's service people to remind themselves of the things we learned the previous Sunday.
So the leadership traits in you were manifesting even at that
from
young age.
infancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to Trinity College.
Yes. So that developed that aspect of me. Then in primary secondary school, I became the NUBG president. But whilst at SS, that was when I really personally discerned that I'm going to be a minister of the Presbyterian Church.
What are some of the things that culminated into that discernment? I mean, how did you arrive at, okay, so now I think, or I feel, or some people say I believe. How did the call, I mean, the conviction of the call come so much that you say, this is it, and I'll go after it?
I think as believers, Jesus told us that I know my sheep and my sheep know me, and my sheep hears my voice. So if you have been a follower of Jesus for a long time, there is that inner voice, inner knowing, where you know that this is what the Lord wants me to do. The Lord, and then I am for BBM, but if you have followed the Lord, you know for sure that this is the voice of God. So at some point, it was not like a voice saying, but it's like, it is a reality within your spirit, within you. You just know. So I remember at that time, I think Professor Mate had done something about divinity. I didn't actually know the details, but I remember telling my colleagues I will also do divinity.
Oh, okay.
I remember at SS, I remember telling my colleagues I didn't know how it was going to happen, but that inner conviction was there, which you will just know. You don't need anybody to tell you you are called to be.
I agree.
A minister.
I agree. Yeah. So from that calling, or from that feeling, that discernment that I will be a minister. Did you have formal training?
Yeah.
And where?
Okay, so part of our preparation has to do with the leadership and the service opportunities God gives us in the church. And this is why those of the youths who believe the call of God is upon them, but then they just want the platform and they don't want to serve, this is where they miss it. And that's why when they comes to TTS interviews, sometimes they mess up.
Oh, okay.
So the calling conviction is there. So what is left is service opportunities that will prepare you. So I remember after SS, when I went home, we had gotten a new minister. That was Reverend Chireba, for the one I mentioned. So I went to him and I told him my house was close to the man's. I said, I remember Honampe work inti uhie bibia frame. I remember he will not be calling me. So Mr. D anopa time I'm here, they will need certain things. Now go and pass around so that they will send me. In the evening, when I think they will need somebody to pound fufu or something, I will go around and then I'll get something to do. And then virtually the minister realized I am useful. So then he will call me now and then. So after SS, I was teaching at a private a private school in Atiasi, but I was not fulfilled. So I decided to quit the teaching and focus on serving the minister.
I see.
At that time, because I thought not the money, but the respect and the honor. Some few of this leadership of the school, I wasn't too happy about it. So I decided to serve the minister. Then he was transferred to Obome. So I followed him to Obome. I helped them. And then Mama eventually told me to come and stay with them because I am helpful. So I have been under his tutelage. I went to university from his house. After the university, so wherever he's moving, aged communion, we are going to do that, revivals, prayers. I am always doing everything with him. So that practical mentorship took place for my ministry under Reverend Samuel Chire Bafo. So immediately after the university, then he told me it is time to buy the forms. But I had already gotten confirmation when he also told me to buy the forms.
I like the story, and in listening to you, there is one thing I am getting, which is that you seem to have gone through the hands of people who really, I don't say nurtured you, but took care of you as if they knew that there's some light on this man, and we have to help let that light shine. So after picking the forms, you got admission.
Yeah, so I think the call became intense during the university days.
Because the story has, the reason I'm asking about admission is that some of the stories I have listened to from some ministers, some will say, yes, I felt the call. I picked the forms, I wrote the exams, but the interview I went 6 times before I was picked. Is that also your experience?
Yeah, so I was picked. But because Sam also normally wants to see the other confirmations of the call, after university, before we came home, I was asking the Lord when I should enter into ministry. Because originally, I had wanted to go into medical laboratory science, establish a lab, develop it into a hospital or a mini clinic before I enter into ministry.
I see.
That was my original plan. But then, immediately after school, I had what they call a divine visitation, instructing me directly to buy the forms. It was within that week that my minister, my father, Reverend Chirebaf, also told me to buy the forms. So I realized this is not an ordinary vision. And so I bought the forms and I studied hard for it. I prepared well for it and I made it at the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you don't have the experiences some other people have. Oh, Papa, so which year were you commissioned?
2019.
And you were posted where?
So I completed university 2015.
Okay.
2014-15, did my national service. So we bought the form during the national service time. And then so right after national service, I had gotten admission to Trinity. We got commissioned. And then I was posted to where the real story begins, Freboye.
We are going to go for a break. When we come back, we are going to have 3 strands put in one. It will be the last lap of the conversation. I will find out from Papa where the real story begins, as he says, and also look at his family life, wife and children, if any, and then we'll look at what has been happening to him the last few years. I'm sure in recent weeks you may have heard, or is it months, that Papa recently had his PhD, made a lot of news on some platforms. I saw a lot of people writing so much about him, what they know of him, and to them, it was no surprise. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll go into that aspect of Papa's life. Welcome back. As I was telling you, Papa has so much to share. Time may not allow us to go into that, so maybe we'll look for Papa again the second time, and we'll continue from there. We'll tell other stories there. But then before we wrap up the show, Papa, so let's put all this together. Maybe the last 5 minutes of the show, where you were first posted,
Yeah.
a bit of your family life,
Okay.
maybe mama, the children,
Yeah.
and particularly, and this is more like a personal thing to me, the PhD interest, how it came and
Yeah.
how you went through the journey.
Wow, I wonder how this will fit, because
Well,
that
maybe.
first station alone is a whole episode.
So back in SS, I'm sure you may
Yeah.
have done it. They will tell you in 5 sentences.
Yeah. So my first station is an interesting station because the place, in describing it, Freboye, if you are not used to going to farm, you get surprised when you get to the community.
Where is there?
Freboye is in
where's
Ashanti
Freboye?
region, but it is under Asante Achim Presbytery.
I see.
I lived with snakes, which I will have to talk about later. So
you save that story for another time.
Yes. So from there, I was posted to Achimabuakwa, where I became the HRM director. And
so which part of Achimabuakwa?
Bunsu Peace
okay.
Congregation.
Okay.
Yeah. And between that time, Papa Populampu picked me up, continuing the mentorship. So I used to go to RTC for mentorship and to support along the line. So that was the time he also picked up my mentorship.
I see.
And then at Achimabuakwa, I had always knew and wanted to major into Bible interpretation, doctrines, and issues dealing with interpretation. So it is that desire that led me into Akrofi to do the Bible translation and interpretation. And after year one of the masters, fortunately, the grades were good, so I got accelerated PhD, which I was supposed to complete maybe next year. I should have completed maybe next year, but some way, somehow, God gave us grace, and we have completed it.
You have your beginnings may have been very humble, but you have a mind that is able to study. I mean, from biochemistry to Bible interpretation and all that, you have a mind that is able to study. But tell me, how have you combined your life as a biochemist, as a scholar, or let me say an academic ministry with family life?
Yeah. So my wife, Dr. Mrs. Agyei, she's an optometrist. We have
best of the same feathers.
Yeah.
flock together.
Yeah. So we have 3 kids now.
Okay.
So what I do is daytime, do office work, church work, those stuffs. And then in the evening, when I join them at home, we do what we have to do, make sure we've gone to sleep. Then I'll wake up, come back to do my studies.
Okay.
That is how.
Okay.
And some days when I am free a bit, I opt to maybe help at home. So sometimes I decide to do the cooking and all those steps, just to cover up for maybe the long hours in being away for some time. Okay. So whenever I'm away, I try to let my presence be felt.
How do you combine service or ministry work at Latte with your work at
the Presbytery?
Yes, at the Presbytery.
Yeah. So the Presbytery Director for Administration, hopefully for that Equiapim Presbytery, they have an administration. There is an administrator and those who are helping. So I always communicate with chairperson when I see what we need to do. I have decided to be in the background. Achimabuakwa, I was always on the move, but I have decided to be in the background, and then we look at the structures and what needs to be done and those who need to do them, so that I can also have some time with the congregation and the family. So I work, but then it's also about leadership.
Okay.
And motivating people to do their work.
Papa, we are wrapping up the show, but as a young minister, watching or seeing lots of young people also coming into ministry, what would be the advice you give them, given the experience you have?
Yeah, I think before the advice, I cannot end this episode to talk about how all this PhD happened.
Okay.
Without talking about the moderator.
Okay.
And Professor B.Y. Kwashi.
Okay.
I don't know how, but these people believed in me more than I believed myself. So they were always like, you can do the PhD, you can finish early. And I was surprised myself. It looks as if they know me than I know myself.
More than you know yourself.
Yes, and in terms of assuring the school he can do well, and even making sure my fees are absorbed and all, these two people has played critical. So currently it's as if they have also picked up my mentorship. So Prof. B.Y. Kwashi and moderator is also playing key role when I came to Akrofi.
You are blessed. I mean, to have some of these, I wouldn't say stalwarts, but really big people in the church mentoring you. Not everyone will get that opportunity.
Yeah. And then Achima Buakwa played a key role because Papa said Kisi made me the Presbytery director. I think the writing skills can also be credited to him. When he made me the director of administration, he allowed me, whatever the program, once it is good, Cornelius, go on the reporting, all those things together with his clerk. And I think those things that Reverend Dr. Seth Kisi gave me, and he trained me in Greek. Yeah, he's also a New Testament scholar.
I see.
And so it's an amalgamation, but I think it is the service that opens the door for the mentorship. Once they see your heart, then it opens
they're able
door
to pick you up and mold you, help mold you. Look, I always say this, and I know my producers will not be happy, but then it is the truth. 30 minutes for this show is not enough. You have to extend it. And we've gone even beyond 30 minutes. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we have to let Papa go. And Papa has agreed that anytime time makes it possible, we'll have a second part of this show because he has so much to share. And I'm sure you've enjoyed this show. If you just joined us, unfortunately, we are drawing the curtains. We've been speaking to Reverend Dr. Felix Cornelius Agyei, AHRM, Equipping Presbytery, and also minister at Salem Congregation in Latte. I've been your host, Jerome Ochre. Surely we'll come your way again next week with another interesting conversation of Called to Serve. It is on PCG TV, where we say, in thy light, there is light. Goodbye.
Stories come alive, voices are heard, and faith meets inspiration. This is PCG TV. From news to powerful sermons, from business spotlights to youth-driven conversations, we bring you content that informs and transforms. Do you need media coverage, live streaming, documentary and video production, or event coverage? PCG TV is your best stop. Call us today on 0257 353 533 and follow us on all social media platforms at PCG TV. PCG TV, in thy light, there is light.